I want to bring us to a clip of former Google CEO Eric Schmidt talking on Scott Galloway's show about the arms race in terms of AGI and AI development overall between the United States and China. And could we play that, John? Do you have that queued up?
This week, there were two libraries from China that were released, open source. One is a problem solver that's very powerful, and another one is a large language model that's equal, and in some cases exceeds the one from Meta, with which they use every day. It's called Llama 3, 400 billion. I was shocked when I read this because I had assumed that in my conversation with the Chinese, that they were 2 to 3 years late. It looks to me like it's within a year now. So it'd be fair to say it's the US and then China within a year's time. Everyone else is well behind. Now, I'm not suggesting that China will launch a rogue attack against an American city, but I am alleging that it's possible that a third party could steal from China because it's open source, or from the US if they're malevolent, and do that. So the threat escalation matrix goes up with every improvement.
I mean, China's open source. Are they doing it all right?
Um, I mean, it's funny that we've had these big debates and regulatory risks now hanging over the open source ecosystem in the U.S. and China's just plowing forward. The reality is that having sort of open source AI allows people to sort of mutate the models in hyperparameter space, and that costs far less than training a model from scratch, and that encourages a sort of open innovation and ecosystem and many more players to contribute to improving AI technologies. And really, our main advantage in the United States versus China is the fact that we have free markets, we have freedom of speech, freedom of thought. We can have many companies pursuing something rather than just one centralized government effort. And open source is a key part of that, of supporting sort of the US innovation ecosystem, which is really our moat. Our moat is speed. It can't just be secrecy and IP. That has not worked for the past several decades. Every key piece of technology we've had, or most of them, have been exfiltrated and copied by China. This was the case, unfortunately, in quantum computing, the world I came from. It's probably the case in AI. And so at that point, if our mode is speed, speed of innovation, if you think of the free market as a sort of evolutionary search algorithm over the space of technologies, then the speed at which it traverses the landscape of technologies is sort of proportional to its variance. So how much, the more we mess around, the more we find out, right? And so,
Yeah.
so you need to have many players, and you need to have the freedom to have many players participate in AI research. And if you close down the ability to do open source, that'd be really bad. And it's funny that China is kind of beating us on this aspect. That's fairly recent. Who knows? Maybe Meta releases a
Yeah.
new model in like a few months.
There's something very strange about China sort of out open sourcing us.
Yeah.
And in that same Aschenbrenner paper we talked about earlier, he's projecting that in like 1 to 2 years, China is also just going to steal a bunch of data from all the major labs because there's like very low security in these labs. What is at stake? What you said, you sort of you think the China threats might be somewhat overrated, but what do you see as at stake if, say, the CCP outpaces the United States in AI development?
Yeah, I mean that'd be really bad. We have to keep up. We have to set the pace and stay in the lead. Of course, like, we're all familiar with Thucydides' trap, right? When an ascending power challenges an incumbent power, the world becomes more unstable, and intelligence is power, right? It's, if you have predictive power over the future, it gives you a lot of optionality with what you want to do, right? Do I think that these anthropomorphic models running on GPUs are like the ultimate source of power for a nation? No, I think there's all sorts of other aspects to to being a powerful nation, um, and establishing dominance over your enemies. But I think, yeah, I think right now there's a sort of main character syndrome with some of these AI companies. They're like,
Who are you referring to specifically?
just the whole current batch, all of them. Like they're like, they're all thinking they're gonna hit this threshold, right? They just got to rush to this threshold of the singularity or human like AI, and then there's gonna be a runaway effect. Their job is done. They can just sit back, uh, and we've won. But in reality, nothing in nature is like this. It's going to be a constant grind uphill. It's going to be a constant battle. So even once we've scaled this current tech tree of GPUs powered by nuclear reactors running transformers to its limits, there's going to be a new tech tree that then we have to scale, and we need to beat our competitors too. So, yes, I'm for accelerating current developments in AI, but I think there's sort of a lot of hyperbolic writing, including Leopold's writing, that I think is passable. But the sentiment is correct that these labs kind of probably have effectively security theater for their operational security. You could just assume that trade secrets leak on a 1 to 2 year timescale max. And so we do need to maintain a good pace of innovation, but I don't think that just having one centralized effort that's government backed is the way to win this race. By the very nature of AI, it's a high dimensional optimization problem. There's not always just a clear direction to go. And so having sort of an innovation ecosystem where many players can take part and have the resources is provably better than just having one research lab that is going to test. They're going to pool all resources to test one thesis of how to train these things, and then it either goes all the way or fails, and then what, right? But if you have several, then you're actually fault tolerant, and on average you find new ways to run these models better, and achieve better performance. And so I think I like the sentiment that we need to maintain innovation speed. That's the whole thing about EAC. That's all it's what we talk about with acceleration. But I don't think it's like it's a pivot from sort of religious AI singularity panic to China panic. It's kind of a pivot, again, instrumental for centralization and regulatory capture.
Hey, that was a clip from Just Asking Questions. You can watch another one here or the full episode here. And please subscribe to our brand new channel to get us started off right and be notified when new episodes or clips go up. Thanks for watching.